How to turn an ordinary shoebox into a really cool puppet.
To the puppet nerds of the world, this may sound absurd, but this is the place you need to be. We'll do an interview and then we'll stitch and glue all of the dolls we'll make and shake. If you wanna be in the know and to play like a pro, subscribe to Crutinger Puppets.
Adam Crutinger here, and on this channel we build a lot of puppets. We've made some really fancy and involved puppets that take a long time. And to be honest, a lot of the materials to make a professional puppet like that are kind of expensive. This is a really fun craft-like project that you can do with things that you can find at a local craft store. But the other thing you're gonna need is a shoebox. Not a sponsor. And here's some supplies you're gonna need. Scissors, a hot glue gun, and a Sharpie marker. That is the bare minimum of the supplies that you need. But if you want to take your puppet to the next level, there's limitless crafting materials that you can use to design your puppet. Here's a few examples. Some pom-poms, construction paper, and some foam sheets. Also, things like ping pong balls and spoons make great eyes. Let's get started. Now, most shoe boxes have lids that open up like this on a hinge. Your box does not have to do that. If you want to, you can even use a box that has a lid like this. In fact, this is actually the better choice for this style of puppet. So the first thing I'm going to do on this one is cut the lid off. There we go. Save this lid, you'll use the cardboard later. Now the next thing I want to do is put a slit on both sides of this box. That's going to allow me to fold it in half so we can create the mouth and the head at the same time. When you're doing this, make sure that your line is in the exact same spot on both sides. It helps to measure. Ideally you want to do it right in the center. In this case, it's going to be 7 inches for me. If you cut it a little bit off center, your puppet will have an underbite or an overbite. And if that's the design that you want, you can go ahead and do that. And then cut on these lines. Now that we've cut those, you can see that it wants to bend right where those cuts are. So then just fold it right there. And you can already see our puppet coming together. You can see I got my shoes on clearance. Now at this point, you could start decorating your puppet already. You can kind of see the whole form coming together. But to make this puppet a little bit easier to use, I want to put some grips in the top and bottom of the mouth plate. That's where this scrap cardboard is going to come in handy again. I want to make a little strip for the top of my hand and for the bottom of my thumb. So I'm just going to cut some strips about 1.5 inches wide. I'm not even going to bother measuring it. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. These are gonna do great. Now let's find out how long I need it to be. So if I put that there, I kind of want to bend it around my hand. That looks good. Let's see. For my shoebox, that ended up being about 9 inches. But if your box is a little bit bigger or smaller, or your hand is a little bigger or smaller, that might have to adjust for your own puppet. So now I'm going to use my trusty hot glue gun, and I'll put some hot glue on this end. And on this end too. Keep your hand in there to make sure that you get a good fit. But also be careful not to burn yourself. And then we're going to do the same for the thumb. Let that glue cool down for a minute, and then we're in business. These finger grips make the puppet so much easier to use. And if it's easier to use, it's also more fun to use. Now, to be honest, the puppet is pretty much all done. All that's left to do is to design and decorate our puppet. Now, this design can be as complicated or as simple as you want. Like I said at the beginning, at the bare minimum, all you would need is a Sharpie. Now, imagine that these stickers aren't here, but all you would really need to do is to draw some eyes on there. And actually, that sticker makes a pretty good little nose. I'll keep that. Get rid of my cheap shoe price. And let me try to get this sticker off quick. You know what, just imagine those aren't there. But already you can see that this is definitely a working puppet. You can even do some details on the inside. You can draw a tongue if you want. You can draw some more details inside the mouth. And like I said, if this is all you have, this makes a great puppet that you can use and play with. But if you want to take it to the next level, let's use some of these fun craft materials. And as always, don't feel limited by the techniques that I'm doing. If you have some of your own ideas, go ahead and do those too. Here we go.
Hey, do you want to hear a joke? Huh? Oh, sure. Okay, what kind of shoes does a spy wear? A spy. I don't know. They wear sneakers! Do you get it? No.
And there we go, there's a nice little design puppet. He's a lot of fun, really bright colors. I used some fake fur to really jazz it up with some really cool hair, a little bit of a goatee, and I thought some fuzzy little eyebrows would be nice too. You probably noticed that I used spoons for the eyes. If you don't have little spoons, you can even just use white construction paper. Or again, just even the Sharpie on this plain paper will work too. You could also use googly eyes, and if you want something even more fancy, I have tons of videos on how to make eyes and other details for your puppet that you could easily apply to the Shoebox puppet too. And if you want to take it a little further than this, you probably saw in the video earlier that I have one that I just made completely covered in fur. Now this one has that overbite technique that I told you about. I measured about 1/2 inch off when I was making those cuts on the side, if you remember. And then that gave him that little bit of an overbite, which allowed me to glue that tooth there to the top of the box. And I even used the exact same spoons for the eyes there and gave him some kind of grumpy eyebrows, and this fuzzy little guy is really fun too. I hope you enjoyed the making of these Shoebox puppets. If you make your own Shoebox puppet, I would love to see it. Make sure to tag me on Instagram or Twitter, or you can even post them in the Cruinger Puppets Tutorial Q&A Facebook group. And if you want to learn some more technical techniques on how to be a puppeteer, I have a whole video called Puppetry 101 that teaches you all the basics. And click right here if you want to see a basic video that teaches you all the performance techniques to be a puppeteer. And if you've really been bitten by the puppetry bug now, I have hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel about puppetry. Be sure to check out my blog and my website for free patterns as well. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.